It's pretty late right now. This is our second video that we're recording because our first one we accidentally recorded in 4K. And my computer couldn't handle it. Welcome to the dialogue, where movies are more than mindless entertainment. I'm Derek, and this is Andrew.
Hello.
And today, this morning, wherever you are, whenever you're watching, we are reviewing Ben-Hur. It's another remake in the long list of remakes that have been remade.
Yep.
This movie is about the Ben-Hurs. The movie is basically called it's like the Hurs. It's like the Addams Family, but it's the Ben-Hurs. You have the main character who is Judah Ben-Hur. This is his story. He has this brother who's been adopted. His name is
Masala.
I
think, right? Yeah. Yep.
we hope.
Yeah.
Masala is basically a Roman who is adopted into this Jewish family, which is the Ben-Hurs. They come from a long line of wealthy Jews. Masala feels like he hasn't earned anything for himself. He doesn't feel like he belongs or fits in their family. And so he feels like he needs to leave and become his own. He then leaves, joins up with the Romans, and then comes back and has this name for himself. However, there's conflict, there's unrest in the Middle East.
Right.
And specifically in Jerusalem where the Ben-Hurs live.
Right, because there's the Jews and the Romans.
Right.
And Ben-Hur is kind of like, oh, we need to just get along with each other. I'm not going to be a zealot, but I'm not with the Romans either. So
right.
I was a little leery going into this. Well, maybe I should say a lot leery. Ben-Hur was one of those classic movies that you never thought they would remake.
Yeah, you would think that they wouldn't touch it.
And if they did, you'd almost think it's going to be like maybe a low budget thing where people are just trying to do something a little different. Right. And that's what the trailers made it seem like to me, like focusing on the action. And the movie did that. It was stylized that way. A lot of shaky cam, a lot of like just with the people, low close shots. There was no wide shots really.
I love those.
But I really liked that style. They kept it going throughout the whole movie, and they made it work for a lot of the scenes, a lot of the action scenes. Not so much, in my opinion, the chariot race, which is what they kind of hanged their hat on. They spent a lot of time with that, made it a big deal. But actually, the galley sequence toward the beginning of the movie, I thought was really visceral in how they were right in there in the galley. They never really went outside the ship, and the action in that sequence was kind of off the chain. And in that sequence too, you also have like some things that are more violent than you were expecting. Oh yeah. Like it is off the chain. Is that what you said? Off the chain? Off the chain, yeah. Right.
Well, and it's funny because they're shackled.
Because her wasn't off the chain.
Yeah, they were on the chain.
They were. So I actually really respect the style, even though I wouldn't choose to do it in that way if I were to make the book Ben-Hur into a movie again. Right. Now the third time. I would want to do it in a more epic style, but...
And something else that you had said earlier, like, about the first movie and then this movie, like, I think the first movie, you could, like, watch it as a family and be like, oh, yeah, the Ben-Hur movie. But this movie is a little bit more gritty and violent at points. It might be a little bit intense for children.
Oh, yeah. So I respected it. And I was pleasantly surprised in that regard. I was also kind of leery about the themes and the kind of the message they wanted to put forth. And they did definitely have I don't want to say agenda, maybe that word fits, but they definitely had a kind of a groove they got caught in. Right. Which I actually really enjoyed too. It was all about the kind of unrest, the racial tension that we saw, and how to get along with people. And they even went past that, just the fun get along thing. So bringing in Christ into the picture and his ultimate sacrifice. Right. Loving your enemies as a real visceral thing. It's not just like a funny not funny, but fun, you know.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Crochet and put it up on the wall, you know, love your enemy as yourself. Mm-hmm. It really showed what that can really be and what it really costs. So that kind of getting along at a cost. And I really respected that about the movie.
There's a lot of things that I do like about the movie, and then there's some things that are obviously like cheesy. Some of the dialogue is a little bit cheesy.
Yeah, I was gonna point that out too. Yeah. There's some lines that's like, just don't say that. Just don't end a scene with somebody saying that. You know.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. Mm-hmm. A couple of the things that I did like about the movie though is I do like Judah Ben-Hur, the main character. As a person, obviously it's building upon like the book that was made, and then on top of that, the other film. So I mean, like the story, they have stuff to work with. It's not like they're just pulling this out of nowhere and they're like, here's this awesome character.
Right.
They have like a good material to work with. The things that he goes through and just kind of getting a feeling for it. One thing that I liked about the movie that I thought it did well was it actually made me empathize for the characters, for who they were. Like, I actually care about Judah, and I care about what's going on with this character and what's going to happen to him. It wasn't like something that it was like, well, I'm kind of ready for this to be over. I was interested, I was invested in the story, and then the end of the story actually has an emotional impact for me. Like, it actually meant something, and there was actually like this feeling in my stomach for a second where I was like, I hope something, you know.
Right, the inner turmoil was there.
Right.
And you could,
I could identify with it. So I enjoyed that. Some of the things that were kind of a little bit more like, is that...
negative?
Yeah, and so I guess I'm going to dive into a little bit of spoilers here.
Let's do it. Okay. All right, we're going to dive into spoilers, guys. I'll put like an annotation if you want to just skip ahead to the ratings.
Yeah, which, I mean, if you've seen Ben-Hur, then you kind of know. But anyway, no spoilers here, but Jesus dies, okay? So there's the crucifixion of Christ in this movie.
Right.
And one of the things that kind of centers around that is basically his family. Like, so Ben-Hur, he's captured and he's put on military ship in Rome.
His whole family is captured.
His whole family is captured.
Separated.
Yeah, and his whole family's captured, and they're put in a prison, basically, where they actually contract leprosy, and then they become lepers. And Judah ends up finding out about this, and then is like really mad at his brother.
Right.
But
even more so mad.
Even more so. But so what ends up happening is Judah ends up having this encounter with Christ on the cross, where he sees him dying, and basically he has a conversion experience, I guess you could say, but it's not really played up that way, which I actually like that it's kind of not played up.
I feel like they did a really good job with that. It's not his first experience.
It's not like
Jesus.
With Jesus at this point. It's not like he had to like pray this prayer or something like that, or like.
Well, it was all symbolized in the stone that he had in his hand.
Right.
That
he
wanted to throw it at somebody, and instead he
right. So that's not bad. The thing that's bad here is that as soon as there's this conversion experience, it's like his mother and his sister who are in prison, who have leprosy, are healed all of a sudden. He ends up getting back together with his brother, and everything's good. Yeah. And all these like good things start happening. His family comes back together. He's able to become a new man. And it's like, sometimes I just wish, and this is how the whole movie was kind of building up to, I just wish that it would just let it be. And I hate how films have been doing this recently, like especially Christian films, where it's like there's the faith and then everything is good.
Yep.
Everything's happy. I hate that.
We're looking at you, God's not dead.
Yeah.
And
I hate that.
Kendrick Brothers.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I cannot stress enough how much I hate that. It's unrealistic, and that's not how it actually works. If you believe in Jesus, not all your problems are going to go away.
Right. It's prosperity gospel. It's prosperity gospel, and it's not real faith necessarily.
But one thing I did like about that is that his faith was not contingent on his family being healed. And then the other thing that I like is that his faith was not contingent on him getting back together with his brother either. Like, he was willing to kind of go the distance with it. So like there's this scene where his brother's got this knife or whatever, and he's gonna. And this is what I meant. Like it was making me tinge on the inside. I was like, like they could kill him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've kind of forgot this story because it was a long time ago that I saw the original, but I liked what happened.
That's right. A few liberties taken, but I think it's pretty close, pretty accurate to what I know, anyways.
Right.
You also mentioned that they have a line about God not only loves, but He's also a righteous God.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
Which is also another good point that maybe not a lot of other Christian films would go there.
Right, because the movie kind of pushes like the theme of love a lot, and then it brings that up at one of the scenes is judgment side as well, which I thought was good, especially because the movie pushed so much of love, which is fine. But
this movie is either going to be an 8 or 9 for me, because of being surprised, pleasantly so, with the style and how it worked. Although it was, to me, it still was a little bit goofy at times, especially in the chariot race, I thought, and that brought out some more like silly, goofy things. And so in thinking about those, I would go to 8. Although the themes are really rich and deeply theological too. So I don't know. I think when I think of the cheese, I want to go 8.
Well, yeah, it's funny because like we had just talked about this because this is our second video that we're recording, and it's like you had a similar struggle with the first one. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my original rating and the first video. I was gonna go at 8 as well. Basically, I just felt like the movie could have been a 9 for me, but the end, and I told you about this, the end of this movie, the way this movie ends. Oh,
that's right.
It just left this bad taste in my mouth.
So that whole like faith reversal where it was so strong, essentially, do the right thing even though it's going to cost you.
Right.
And then it almost turned 180 to, once you do the right thing, everything's going to be all right. And then, of course, like a cue cheesy Christian-esque pop song as the credits come up, as these words kind of going around this track with dust clouds behind them.
It's kind of like, if I could say this, it's kind of like your lover, your wife, for instance, giving you a kiss, and then you really enjoying that kiss.
Yeah.
But then them slapping you in the face right afterwards.
That's how it was?
And that's how it was for me. Like, this movie kissed me. And then slapped me in the face. And so now all I can remember is the stinging feeling.
I just remember that reversal and
the music at the end and the credit scenes.
Oh,
with
it was bad.
It was bad.
Racing. And the weird thing was, like right after they got the top build credits out of the way, it switched the animation style
and it
to
got better.
This epic thing that was really kind of classy.
The music still stunk, but
weird.
I didn't like the music.
What's up with that? Anyways, guys, so tell us what you thought about the movie, 2016 Ben-Hur, by joining the dialogue.
Yeah.
Which means subscribing to the channel and commenting down below.
And liking the video.
Mm-hmm. We really enjoy hearing your thoughts, and we like to respond and have dialogue about it. So be sure to let us know. Join. And tune in next time on the dialogue.